Welcome back to Fox 5's On the Hill. We welcome back in now Brian Kelly. He is the Executive Vice President and Editor-at-Large for U.S. News and World Report. So you just heard Senator Van Hollen say that he's voted 17 times to reopen this government, and it is still closed. The blame game that has been going on for weeks now over this between Democrats and Republicans, is anybody winning this, or is everybody else just losing?
Yeah. The polling is a little hard to figure. You know, I try to follow it closely, and it's fairly split. I would say that it's not a clear loser. You know, the Republicans in the last major shutdowns, I go back to 1990, the Newt Gingrich shutdown, Gingrich versus Clinton, and Clinton gained from that. And the Obama shutdown over Affordable Care Act, he gained from that. And the last Trump shutdown was a loser for Trump. But right now, I think it's more of a tie. Although, you know, you got to take it day by day. There's a couple of really critical things that are happening. SNAP is affecting people in a certain way. The thing I would keep an eye on is the air traffic controllers. That was what changed. Well, that was what caused the 1990s shutdown to end, was when the air traffic controllers all started calling in sick, and they literally shut down the system. That's starting to happen now.
And look, as we sit here on November 2nd, we're about 25 days away from, oh, hello, Thanksgiving. The holiday travel season is about to kick into the gear. So you've got air traffic controllers on the job not being paid. You've got TSA screeners on the job not being paid. You got people on SNAP benefits not getting their benefits. And, you know, there's a court decision a couple of days ago saying you've got $6 billion in funds, USDA, send those to the EBT cards and get these people the benefits. It seems to have been branched out enough that they should be able to kind of get their arms around it. Now, there is talk that maybe this could come to an end this week, but there doesn't seem to be any momentum publicly about that.
Yeah, I think the point the senator made and others that Trump has to get involved, and that he was obviously doing something else the last week or so, being in Asia, doing some pretty significant things in Asia, by the way. But that he will have to step in at some point. But I think again, come back to the air traffic control. That is the weakest point in the system, because that's chaos. That becomes chaos. It's not just SNAP is abstract. Nobody, you can't see it. They'll put a Band-Aid on it. But at a certain point, when food lines start to grow, and the air traffic control system goes down, you've got a crisis that has to be solved.
I don't know if SNAP is abstract to the person who's going to the supermarket and can't use their card. But let me ask you about the Asia trip. The president got a lot of criticism over being out of the country. What was accomplished there, and specifically with China? Was that important?
It was important. I have to say it's hugely complicated. I try to follow it closely. A lot of things went on. I think that the basic takeaway is that we've come to some agreement with China to not go to war, not go to trade war. We're still doing lots of different things with China, but it's a different China than what we've been dealing with for the last 20, 30 years.
And explain that, because why are they now more of a formidable economic adversary to us than they were before?
Well, they've grown, but they've grown with us giving away a lot. You know, again, we go back to Clinton and the whole, when they became part of the global trade system, we allowed them in, we gave them a lot of forbearance, and, you know, arguably they took advantage of it, and they've now grown tremendously. One of the most significant things about the Trump administration is they see China as an adversary, not as an ally. They see them as more than a competitor. And it was pretty hostile at the beginning of the year, but this meeting was, I think, got tempers down a little bit in a good way. Many things. There's fentanyl, there's trade, there's precious metals. A lot went on, but I think it was more positive.
Well, and that is the classic Trump art of the deal, though, right? I mean, you toss over the table, and then when you pick up what was on that table, then you declare a victory because you've been able to reach a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, interesting to me, not just Trump. You know, I think you have to keep an eye on Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, and Howard Lutnick. You know, these guys are very successful businessmen in their own right. They're both billionaires. They were both very present there. They understand a lot of the intricacies of dealing with China, and are very much able to put a lot of things on the table instead of just one or two things.
Well, certainly there's a lot of moving parts of this. Brian Kelly joining us this morning from U.S. News and World Report. Always a pleasure to have you at this table.